Hey guys, it's Ginny. Yes, I know I'm not wearing any makeup today, and I have wet hair, so it's a double whammy. Apologies for that, but I was, drumroll please, in the pool. I know I've talked to you guys previously about the pool in my apartment complex, about how I was going to wait till I got to 350 pounds to give it a shot. Um, and I, because I didn't know if I could get myself in and out with a ladder yet. I just didn't know if I was physically capable of that at this point. I definitely wasn't when I was 600 pounds. It's been years since I was able to get myself in and out of a pool that way. Um, when we looked into not buying, renting this place, I wish buying, when we looked into renting this place, one of the things that drew me to it was the fact that it had a pool. And I love to swim, and I thought, what a great way to get exercise, and it'll be right out my back door. Let me rephrase that. It'll be right outside anytime I want to go swimming. So, but they hadn't finished building it yet, so we couldn't actually look at it. But we looked at the plans for it, or what was available on their website, and it looked like a nice little pool. I thought perfect for doing laps. So we rented it, and then when they finished it, we found out it didn't have any stairs in it, just ladders. And for some reason, it had never occurred to me that that was a possibility, because every pool I've ever seen in the U.S. has had stairs in it for the elderly, for the less mobile, for anybody who needs them, children. So yeah, I was surprised by that. So they did have a disabled lift that will take you in and out of the water, but it was rated to 350 pounds. And I said, well, I guess all I can do is wait till I'm 350, and then I'll give it a shot. I'll get in the water, and then I'll see if I can get out without the lift or not. So I used the ladder on my way into the pool on Wednesday, and it actually wasn't as bad as I thought getting in, but getting in is a lot easier than getting out, right? So, but I was actually able to get out just fine. So I got in, I did 20 lengths of the pool. The pool's 25 meters, and got out again, got a really nice workout, and was very happy. Okay, that should be good.
I love you.
I love you too.
I hadn't gotten quite to 350, but I weighed myself on Wednesday morning because I wanted to make sure that I was like close enough. And it was like 352, and I'm like, well, if the lift's rated to 350, like I know there's a certain amount of leeway that they built into those things for liability purposes, and I definitely think 2 pounds is doable. So if I had needed the lift, I would have been able to use it just fine, I'm sure. But yeah, I was 352.8, and I usually only weigh on Fridays, and then this morning I was 353. What are you gonna do? My goal for this week for myself was to work out every weekday, and I've done that. I swam Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and every time I swim, I do at least an extra lap, so an extra 2 lengths. So my first time was 20, second time I did 22, this time I did 25. So I'm going to try to increase that a little bit each time, build my endurance up a little more, and see how it goes. Yeah, so I'm really excited to be working out. I feel really good. I did have a little adventure on Monday, Tuesday? Yeah, Monday. Oh, I'm wrong. Okay, everything I just told you guys is wrong. I'm sorry. I walked on Sunday and Monday. No, that's not right. I'm confused. Today is Friday, right? Yeah. Tuesday, Wednesday. Uh, oh, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. Um, no. Anyway, okay. Let me just pause this and go look at my stuff for this week. Okay, so let me tell you guys about the little adventure I had on Tuesday. Um, my plan was like, okay, I looked at Google Maps, right? And I looked at the little park that we usually go and walk around that I've shown you guys before. And I thought I'd like to walk a little further this time, and or maybe a lot further, because I never quite I never feel when I just walk around the park like I'm at the edge of my endurance and I can't have possibly walked any further. Like I never feel like that. Um, so I wanted to expand my walk a little bit. Um, and there was a second park basically adjacent to our park. They're literally like they bump up against each other. And I looked at Google Maps, and it looked like you should be able to take the path out of the park that we're usually in, like walk all the way through it, take that path, go a block, take a left onto a street that dead ends, and then you're like, if you keep walking that way, you're in the other park. And then you go about a block that way and turn left onto a little paved path, and then it looks like it puts you right in the middle of this other park. And it looks like you should be able to walk the length of that park basically and end up right back in our park, in our usual park, our park, like it's ours. Um, so I thought, great. And it looked like they were pretty much connected. Like it didn't look like there was that. And both parks, I know from looking at them before, are mostly like flat, level, grassy, not too woodsy areas. So I thought, this will be great. I'm sure you can guess from my laugh that that's oh, excuse the mess. I'm sure you can guess from my laugh that that's not exactly how things went. So, um, yeah, I went up and out of our usual park, went down the block, turned left, got to like walked a block, got to the little paved walk area, followed that, and and I was checking my phone and my like Google Maps and all this, like pretty much off and on the whole time I'm walking to make sure I'm going the right way. I'm not going to get lost, whatever. And I get to the spot where this new park joins with the old park, and as I said, it looked a little bit like they were just connected, but I didn't see like I figured there's probably a path that connects them, right? So I see a path at the end of this like paved area and grassy area. I see a path. So I'm like, oh, okay. It's kind of a woodsy path, but considering how close the parks are together, I'm like, oh, I can do woodsy for a little bit. And I see it goes up a bit of an incline. I'm like, well, I could do an incline. That's not going to bother me too much. So I start walking up it. Only it's not going this way or even this way. It's going like that. Um, and pretty soon I find myself scrambling over boulders, around trees, um, holding onto branches while I climb up and climb down to steady myself a little bit. Yeah, this has turned into like a serious mountain climb. I say mountain. It's not quite a mountain, but it is known as a very steep incline. And like I can't say too much about it because apparently they do like school children take tours up it, so it's not exactly like it's not exactly the scariest incline in the world, right? But so I get to the summit, and the summit is where the very obvious path ends, right? And the summit is gorgeous. There's all this incredible scenery, like you can see for just miles and miles, or if you're Aussie, kilometers and kilometers. I mean, it's gorgeous. So I spend a few minutes enjoying the view, and then I see down the other side another path. And I'm like, oh, this path must be the path that connects the two parks because they're literally right together. It's going the right direction. This has to be it. And like I know that I've scrambled up a bunch of rocks and like done a bunch of challenging things to get up, and it's actually a little more challenging getting down because like when you're a person of size, like I still am, you have a lot of momentum when you're involving gravity, right? So when you're climbing against gravity, it's a little safer. It feels like to me at least than when I'm trying to climb down. It's a little scarier. Um, so this other path looks a little less steep. It looks a little easier, and it looks like it's going to take me where I want to go. So, so I go. I follow this little path, and it's going down and down and down. And I think, oh, good, I'm going the right way. It's going down, la la la. Um, and I um, I get to an area where the path is fading a little bit, and that makes me a little concerned. And at this point, I'm like, okay, do I turn around and go the way I just came down? Like, do I go back up to the summit and then go back the way I came now that the path is a little iffy, like just to be on the safe side? And I think people are in these parks all the time. This is not that untrafficked an area. This isn't like the middle of nowhere, really. So and like I've seen where a path that looks just like the one that I'm on comes out in the park that I'm used to. I'm thinking this has to be the right path. This has to be the right way. I can still make out a trail. I'm going to keep going. So I keep going, and I get to this one boulder, this one really big boulder that is a pretty big climb down for me. It was pretty challenging, and I thought, once I got down, I thought, man, if I have to get back up that without any help, I don't know how I would do. I just don't know. Um, but I'm like, this is a path that's going down. This has to be right. So I kept going and I kept going and I kept going. And then finally, I end up in this basically clearing where there's a path a little further down. And I go and I look down that path, and it dead ends in a sheer drop off. So obviously I can't go that way. And I see another path, and I follow that one for a little while, and that dead ends in a sheer drop off. So obviously I can't go that way. So I go back to the clearing where there's boulders to sit on. And I'm like, well, I can't go back the way I came. There's no way I go back and look at that boulder that I climbed down. I'm like, there's no way. I can't do this by myself. And I was like, well, I've kind of gotten myself into a bit of a pickle now. So what do I do? Like I was feeling so confident in myself, so fit, so fabulous when I started this whole walk that I just felt like I could do anything. And now I'm like, guess I'm not quite there yet. So I'm debating calling 000, which is like emergency services. It is a hot day. I neglected to bring a bottle of water like I had meant to. And I'm like I'm in the middle of nowhere and I can't get back. So 000, that probably would have been an understandable call. But my husband was working from home, and I knew he was in a conference call when I left. So I texted him and said, "Hey, are you still on your call?" And it was about 10 minutes before he texted me back. And when he finally did, we tried calling each other, but the service was kind of spotty where I was. But finally, we got a call connected. I explained what the heck was going on. I texted him, like, obviously, I have GPS on my phone. I texted him, like, map pictures of where I was, like, details of exactly the path I had taken to get there. Like, at least I knew, like, to pay attention enough that I could tell him exactly how I got where I was going, etc. I said, bring a bottle of water. He said, okay, I'll come get you. I said, bring a bottle of water. It's freaking hot out here. So he did. But he was so worried about me. Poor guy. Like, he's such a good husband, I gotta tell you. Like, I hate that I had to be rescued. Like, I don't consider myself a princess. Well, I do. But I mean, I don't consider myself the type that has to be rescued. Like, I've rescued myself every other time in my life, pretty much. But I could not rescue myself from this situation. And I like my feminist side was like screaming that I had to be rescued by a man. But what are you gonna do? And he's so worried about me that he literally doesn't even bother to follow the path up the mountain. Um, he literally just like charges through the woods to come get me, like using his phone with GPS. And we have like this little feature that allows us to track each other's phones. Like, this is the first time we've ever used it. Like, it's not something we ever do, but in this exact instant, we were very glad we both had it. So he was able to like literally just follow my phone's GPS signal and come find me. And the poor guy, he like dropped his phone like on the way. Fortunately, it shattered the screen protector, but not the screen. So on that, he got a few scratches. I have a few bruises and a few scratches. Can barely even see them now, but um, yeah. But other than that, I came out pretty much unscathed. He climbed up on that boulder and was able to like pull me enough that I was able to get myself up there. I don't think I could have done that without him. Um, I just don't know how it would have been possible. But the fact is, I'm 353 pounds, and I went mountain climbing. I had confidence enough in myself, foolhardy though it was, as it turns out. I had confidence enough in myself to go mountain climbing. And the reason I keep doing air quotes around mountain is it's really steep, but it's not technically a mountain. The name, well, I won't say the name of it because it's close to where we live, but yeah, it's not a mountain, it's a hill. It's a steep hill. A very, very steep, very, very covered in bush and wildlife, like Australian bush and wildlife and trees and yeah, scratchy things. Hill. But yeah, it was nice. Let me rephrase. Once I was home and safe, and a little bit of the adrenaline and the panic had worn off from the fact that I was lost in the woods, yeah, I was proud of myself that I'd done that. So that was one of my workouts this week. On Monday, I just was walking around. I don't even remember where, but I did lots of walking on Monday. Enough to get in like 2.8, 2.5, somewhere in there. Somewhere around 2.5 miles. And yeah, but that was not on the same kind of incline. So yeah, it's been an overall pretty good, pretty fun week with lots of activity built in. And like I said, I'm sorry I don't have makeup on. I'm just too tired from my pool workout. I just couldn't even deal with it. So yeah. Oh, I didn't even give you guys my little spiel at the beginning. Okay, so this is my week 34 post-op VSG update. Can't believe it's been that long. It's Friday, November 20th, 2015. Last Friday, I was 354.2 pounds, 160.6 kilos. This week, I am 353 pounds, 160.1 kilos, so a loss of 1.2 pounds or half a kilo. Number recap, my high weight was 600 pounds, 272.1 kilos in January 2014. Date of surgery, which was 28th March of this year, I was 488.2 pounds, 221.4 kilos. Total weight loss so far, 247 pounds, 112 kilos. Total weight loss since surgery, 135.2 pounds, 61 kilos. So there you go. And the only other thing I had to say this week, I wanted to give a couple shout outs. One to Switched Focus, Amy, who just hit Wonderland last week. Very excited for her. If you have or are considering the DS, the duodenal switch, She just did a really good video on vitamin requirements for it. So I'll list her channel down below. And also, you should follow, if you aren't already, Raw Create, Rachel. She is reasonably new to the YouTube WLS community. I say reasonably because I just found her very recently, um, but uh, but she's got like weeks and weeks worth of past videos. So you guys should go subscribe to her. She's having the gastric bypass, I believe, although it has been delayed a bit. I feel for her on that. Um, but hopefully she'll end up having it soon. She lives in the UK, so things might be a little different for her versus Australians or US people. But she seems like a really awesome person and totally worth following and totally enjoyable watching. So go follow both of them if you aren't already. All right, people. I'll talk to you next week and update you on how the exercise and the weight loss is going. Bye.